Disney Vibes Podcast, talking insider tips, tricks, and pixie dust. For the most magical place on Earth, here's Andrew and Heather.
Hello, once again, welcome to the Disney Vibes Podcast. This is episode number 12 for the week of January 20th, 2022. I'm at a loss for words.
That's a first.
I know, right?
Oh my God.
Well, I'm looking at avocado toast in front of me right now, and we're talking about food, on this week's episode. So I'm looking at Heather makes all this with oil and everything. Anyways, Disney Vibes is brought to you by Magical Destinations Travel, bookmdtravel.com. If you like the podcast, spread the word, want to show your support, one of our agents will be with you to assist you in planning your vacation. And as always, there is no obligation at all for a free quote and no cost to you ever. And we try to always offer some kind of incentive for our clients that do end up booking with Magical Destinations Travel. So that's the way you could definitely show support. You like the show, definitely check out bookmdtravel.com. And if you are downloading the podcast, that helps us out as well. Please be sure to download Disney Vibes Podcast wherever you get your podcasts from, and provide feedback and a rating as well, and we do appreciate your support. So, lots of news in the world of Disney, and before we talk about the main topic, Heather, any housekeeping? Mousekeeping?
Mousekeeping.
How you like that one?
I want to say that something kind of exciting has happened in Disney when it comes to the youngins needing a stroller. So Disney has come out with new strollers. And
saw that.
Yeah, it's actually super, super cute. I posted it on our Instagram, so you can get some information there. But instead of what would you describe the other strollers? These
old, brown, decrepit.
Yeah, I mean, just things with wheels to get you from one place to another.
Which is necessary. We can't knock that. It is with the kids,
100%.
Right?
But the fact that now they are themed Mickey and Minnie, and they're red, and they have the Minnie and Mickey theme colors. And there's a canopy, and it looks more lightweight than those bulky ones.
Right.
And they're available to rent while you're on property. So I was super excited to see that. Little things.
Yeah, and I think, we could do more episodes regarding strollers and everything at Disney, depending upon what you need. But one thing to remember is if you do rent those strollers, like a day pass, let's just say,
right,
and you're going from Magic Kingdom, save your receipt. Because if you go to Epcot or another one, they'll say, they'll accept it and you don't have to pay another fee. So, but again, that's a whole nother episode talking about strollers. Oof. Brain fog there. Sorry. So here's what's happening. Before we get to the main topic today, I do want to talk about some of the news that has come out in the last week or so. First thing I want to touch base about is the Toy Story Land at Hollywood Studios, Jesse's Trading Post. So it's eventually, we knew it was coming. We just didn't know when, obviously, with everything that went, happened over the last, 18 months. But Jesse's Trading Post is going to be, coming to Hollywood Studios, and it's the Roundup Rodeo Barbecue Restaurant. So definitely a family-friendly dining experience. Tons of barbecue fare surrounded by a kaleidoscope of toys, games, play sets that Andy, of course, has brought together to create his own one-of-a-kind rodeo. So it's going to be like one of Andy's honorary toys is what they want you to pretend you're going to be in the lobby before going into the two larger dining room spaces where Andy's rodeo takes place, and it'll be Western Town and train station play sets mixed with all this stuff with the food. So kind of exciting.
So fun. Even just looking at the pictures that they posted, I don't want to say prototype.
No, it's the concept art.
Right. Because originally I didn't realize it was a full-blown restaurant feel. So I think this is very much needed because in Toy Story Land, that's what it's missing. You know?
And they're bringing Jessie into it. She hasn't had
She doesn't have her
space.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
She hasn't had a space for it. So, yeah, the concept art looks great. It's coming in 2022. Exactly when?
When we get there, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we don't know, but it's definitely, especially if you're a fan of barbecue, I'm sure it's going to be great. So
love barbecue.
Definitely to check out as a restaurant. And just as a reminder, when we talk about restaurants and dining, 60 days out from your first day is when you will be able to make dining reservations. So what else, Heather? What's happening?
Hold on one moment.
Well, some restaurants reopened. And specifically, Jaiko, the cooking place, the Turf Club Bar and Grill, and Flying Fish.
Flying Fish. So now
on the boardwalk.
We have never been there, and I've heard amazing, amazing things about it.
Yeah, I think you really have to, really like seafood. But basically, the reopenings for these locations are coming. So Flying Fish is obviously at Disney's Boardwalk, Turf Club Bar and Grill at Disney's Saratoga Spring, and Jaiko, the cooking place, is at Animal Kingdom Lodge. So they're coming back. They got their food. They have January 27th, I believe, is when they're going to be opening. But all of the food, I'm not going to go into all the news of what they are doing. But January 27th is when Flying Fish will be opening. February 17th, it will be Jaiko at Animal Kingdom Lodge. And then
February 15th, you have Cape May Cafe.
Right, so that's reopening at Beach Club, right?
And then didn't we go to Allen Compass?
We did.
We did. Yep. So that is reopening starting the 31st of January.
Well, they're gonna have breakfast. I think they are open, but you can book those places now.
Correct. And new lunch offerings.
Right. So I think they're open for dinner only, and obviously, staffing is an issue. But they are bringing more and more cast members back. And I did see recently as well that they have like a sign-on bonus if you become a cast member, I think.
Oh, wow.
So we'll definitely touch base on that, next week and as more news of that comes out. The other thing I want to talk about is they rebranded the Grand Floridian Spa, opening January 26th at Walt Disney World Resort. It used to be called Senses, which was the same title they used on cruise line. So that is reopening. So if you're a big spa person, it's going to reopen at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort. I don't know. I mean, I get it, but I
know this is not your realm. This is definitely something that I would love to eventually be able to do when we go to Disney. But right now, that is not our time.
No, we're
maybe like 40 years from now.
Oof.
But yeah, so they have, the Grand Floridian Spa. They could choose from any treatments with whether it's massage or, nail treatments. And it's got the iconic Victorian style theme, again, to go along with the Grand Floridian. And just by looking at, the redesigned photos, it really does look luxurious.
Yeah, that's kind of the Grand Floridian
yes.
As well. I mean, that's kind of what they go for. And the spa opens up on January 26th. Okay, so big news that came out was the fact that Disney is raising prices on food. And, so frustration, by the social channels are going crazy, but the prices are increasing on hundreds of food items at Disney World. And they kicked off, the year, obviously, in style, increasing these prices, whether it be pretzels, popcorn, burgers, hot dogs, bottled beverages, Dole Whips, a big favorite, Mickey Mouse ice cream bar,
coffee,
beer, cocktails, so much more. And, they said there's a possibility that over 1,000 menu items have had their prices increase. And there's no real comprehensive way of tracking the prices before and after of every single menu item. But some things went up, 25 cents, 50 cents.
Yeah.
Others, like Dole Whips, are up by $1. Same with alcoholic beverages. Appetizers, entrees at table service restaurants are up $2 to $3. Burgers, other meats at counter service restaurants up 50 cents to $1. So basically, the big thing is if you are visiting Walt Disney World soon, just plan to increase your dining budget because about $1 per item, I'd say, on average. And the reason why dining plans, we talked about this on a previous episode. I don't see them coming back. The demand is there. Why are they going to bring it back? Dining plans, free dining was always used to entice people to come when the resorts were slower.
When they needed that.
Right, when they need that extra capacity to make money, they figured that's their way of enticing people to come and giving you, free dining. So I would say that on average, some things didn't increase at all or at this point, right? And others are only up by 25 cents. But let's, if you averaged your trip for a week, let's just say, things are going to entrees, snacks, everything. They've increased in prices by
at least 50 cents.
Right.
At least.
You average it out, you're going to be spending depending on a family of $4, $5, $10 extra a day. I don't know. I haven't done that math, but it's going to add up. It's definitely going to add up. And we know, listen, I want to say supply chain issues could factor into this. I mean, we've all stepped into a grocery store. This should not be a surprise.
Right.
The cost of food, inflation, everything is going up. Meat, poultry, fish, eggs, everything has gone skyrocketed. And I don't know. I mean, they surged, consumer prices have surged 7.1% in December.
They're adjusting to our economy right now.
Right.
Honestly, I mean, like you said, you go in a grocery store, there's either a scarcity, like there's things that aren't there because of the demand, and then once you're able to get them, there's probably a bit of a upcharge on it.
Yeah. So it's definitely had a huge impact.
Them. Exactly. So I mean, but I'm just looking at some of the increases on certain things. So like for example, your classic Mickey pretzel.
Yep.
That went from $6.79 to $7.19, and then if you wanted to get, any of like the sauces to go with it, there's an additional fee there. Your classic Mickey bar was $5.69. Now it's $5.99.
Okay.
So, and then a Dole Whip, I believe it went up $1. So then if we go back to it, we're now looking at $4.99 to $5.99. So again, like it for me, like it is what it is, and you just got to be a little bit more mindful. But
right.
Then we can also share, which we'll get to, some tips for you to save money,
right,
by bringing in your own snacks, and you still can splurge here and there on your Mickey bar or whatever else.
Pretzel, yeah. I think that's the big thing is. Socials are upset because of just everything else that has led to this. Mm-hmm. Like if they didn't take away Magical Express, if they didn't do some of these other things, and the park extended hours in evening, and they all of those other things that have added up, that's frustrated Disney fans over the past year. And I get it; they've lost billions of dollars. Understood. And we can talk about Bob Chapek's pillars and what his vision is, and that's another whole conversation. But
the North Star.
Yeah, he released a memo to internal castmates only, and like it wasn't going to get publicized. Like, what were you thinking? But I'm not going to go on that soapbox at this point. We've seen it hit us at home, so we have to kind of have the expectation that it's
going to
happen
there
on vacation, Disney World or anything.
Right.
It doesn't matter where you're going. You're renting a beach house in the Outer Banks. Prices are increased on the shelves. I'm sure restaurants are going to increase their prices. We've seen restaurants everywhere who say, there's now a fee if you use a credit card versus paying cash. Mm-hmm. So, yes, we're frustrated as fans, as Disney fans, but I think we just have to, plan. And I get it. I don't want to pay the increases. We don't want to pay it. A family of 5, it adds up. However, I think it's kind of like, okay, we knew it could have, it could have been coming. And again, ranges, 50 cents for like burgers and hot dogs to, the treats could have 50 cents to $1. But things like alcoholic beverages pretty much went up to $2, Like I know we ate at Coral Reef this past trip when we went.
Yes,
so
there's a lot there. I think
we had a Magical Star cocktail, right? It was $15. Now it's $17. So there are things that, I don't want to say we should expect it, but we look at the world, the country really as a whole, and we can see that this was kind of the trend. Let's just hope that it's not going to increase even more. Let's hope we get through 2022 and there are no further price increases. And I get it. People are frustrated, but we're going to, we're trying to say, you got to plan a little bit more, right, in your budgeting for Walt Disney World. So that's kind of my segue into what can you do as far to counteract these price increases?
Right. So we have some tips that we're going to offer, and we actually did use these in our last trip, and I do believe 110% it was, life-changing in a way because you were prepared and it wasn't as costly. So what we're going to get into is that we are going to give you suggestions on how you can have groceries delivered to your room. Whether it's through like a subscription service that you may have, maybe you have it at home, and then they do offer it down in Disney.
Yeah.
Or
sorry.
It's okay.
Before we get into the whole grocery delivery thing, I want to say, like, the first thing in my mind is, that's the avenue and the platform. But first, I would recommend that you use groceries for breakfast. You don't eat in the parks.
Yes.
I would say that's the biggest thing. I mean, if you're if you're going to a character breakfast or something like that, or maybe you have a really good breakfast, and we've done it. We ate at Trattoria on the boardwalk for breakfast, and oh my goodness, it was phenomenal right on the boardwalk.
Right. One of our sit-down dinners.
It was a breakfast.
Entrees. You know what I mean. We sat down and ate there.
But we paid. But it was delicious. And we had it as a brunch, time-wise. Mm-hmm. We really did it like we hit, I think, Epcot early in the morning, did a couple things, and then went to Trattoria, walked over there, had breakfast. Phenomenal. The cast members' service was above and beyond. There was like 5 people helping us at the table. But, we could do that, with restaurant reviews on another episode. So I would say you're usually ready to go, especially if you have young kids early in the morning for the parks. You're ready to go. It's best to eat some kind of breakfast. What we did, Heather, what we eat mostly for breakfast?
So our kids love cereal. So if we had enough time, they would have cereal in a bowl. And we did have bowls, but we were I think it was because we were DVC. So we had a kitchenette. However,
they all have a fridge.
Right.
A mini fridge.
So we had cereal, and if we didn't have enough time, we would put cereal in a bag. So between that, or we had granola bars, we had bananas that the kids would have. Something, it just depended on our time, but it was something that we could have that was also portable as well. So that was really, and Andrew and I had protein bars. We're huge protein bar buffs.
And coffee.
And coffee. So it was our coffee, protein bars. The kids either had bananas, cereal.
Yogurt drinks.
Yogurt drinks or like pouches. Or no, we did applesauce pouches too.
Yeah, they had granola bars, right?
Granola bars. So that was kind of like our go-to.
Yeah.
For breakfast.
And it, again, a way of saving money. Listen, counter service breakfasts are not worth the money in that regard, in my opinion.
Maybe here and there if you want.
Counter service, though. I'm saying
no.
Table service, breakfast is much better. They do things better, but breakfast can be overpriced. Okay, why?
Only because there are times where you may want a cinnamon bun because they make the best cinnamon buns, and I will have my cinnamon bun.
But that's just one thing. I'm saying,
know.
If you're going to get eggs and rubber bacon and whatever, fine.
I understand.
Agree to disagree. That's fine. But I would definitely use, and we're going to talk about grocery delivery for breakfast specifically, right? I mean, that's kind of where we're at. Is you can use the grocery delivery service for, again, like Heather said, also snacks, and we'll talk about snacks because you don't want to pack everything because of luggage and bringing it all down.
I will say we did pack. Before COVID, when we went, I packed 2 boxes of cereal in our suitcase.
But not this most recent trip.
No, the one before that, though.
Right.
Before we knew about grocery services being available.
Right.
And I did pack a big box of Cheerios, I remember, and it went. So
yeah,
whether
and then airlines have changed
thing
things.
In there,
right.
Sure.
Depends on how you are as a packer, which Heather could talk about her packing cubes. Another episode. But
true story.
That would be the most, one money-saving tip is using grocery delivery. And we'll talk about what platforms, in a few minutes for breakfast specifically. Another way of saving money is Disney Springs restaurants. Disney Springs restaurants, I would just say you have a better bang for your buck. Because they're on a level playing field with real-world restaurants. You don't need park admission to go to them, so it's easier for, they also get, more foot traffic, so they may not have to charge as much. So if you're interested in certain restaurants, and again, fantastic restaurants at Disney Springs, but that is definitely a way of saving money. Another thing, hotel guests, have prices are a few dollars cheaper per entree. Again, I haven't looked at hotels specifically itself, but eating in your hotel, those food courts, the quick serves that they have there, that is another way of saving money, similar to Disney Springs. Compared to just going directly to the park to eat.
Sure.
We know Disney. We were talking about Disney dining plan, and again, we don't know if they're coming back. But here's what I would say, and I think we've all witnessed it. If you're a Disney fan, and if you've been to Disney, and you decide you wanted to go to that Disney dining plan again. I don't know if I'd pay extra for that unless you want to set it and forget it, because that last day you're getting like 57,000 snacks, right?
Yeah. No, it was overwhelming at times. I could tell you, before we went this past time, when we were able to take advantage of it, I was having moments where it's like, I can't eat anymore.
Right.
I don't want to eat anymore. And then
it's a lot of food.
It is. And then you start feeling, some people may feel me here. You may start feeling, oh my God, I've been eating so much. Da, 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 da. So it's more, you have more control, I guess you could say, of your eating rather than having to choose X, Y, and Z.
Right. You're trying to get your better bang for your buck, and they always include a dessert and,
And that was the first time they had an alcoholic beverage that you can use.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so, again, I don't think it's coming back, but I think, for the price, if you look at what you would pay. Now, if it's free, I get it, right? You're going to utilize it if it works because that's to your benefit. But if you are paying for something, I don't think it's the best bang for your buck in that regard, because the overeating and so on and so forth. I think another thing that you may want to, I don't want to say avoid, right? But just keep in mind is those signature restaurants because of the price point.
Sure.
So, Sanaa, Sebastian's Bistro, all of those are a little bit of a splurge, versus, I get it. You want to eat at Royal Table, Cinderella's Royal Table in Magic Kingdom. Same thing with, Be Our Guest. That's now for dinner. It is a signature. So it's typically a lot more expensive, on that front. And then snacks, we're going to talk about snacks. Same thing. They can be overhyped, but you have that, those are those things where you splurge, like Heather said. Certain snacks, you want to have things that are more filling. And we also bought a lot of snacks using that grocery delivery. Listen, grocery delivery, there's two things with it, okay? And this is going to make me pivot and segue right into it. Number one, groceries will get delivered even if you're not there, as long as there's no alcohol.
Right.
Otherwise, they need to see your ID, scan it, and you need to sign for it, right? So, again, when we're talking that drink, $15 to $17, but you want to have a couple drinks at the pool bar, if you're not going to the parks that day, it's going to add up very quickly. Meanwhile, you have a water bottle, a Solo cup, whatever it is, you can just purchase your alcohol. You get a 4-pack, like of Schofferhofer that I did.
Great fruit beer.
Right, from, Germany. It was only $10 or $12 for the 4-pack. In Epcot in Germany, you're paying $12 for one, and I want to say it's 8 ounces, not 12 or 16.
Right,
so,
right.
I think that using the grocery service is immensely
beneficial.
Thank you for saving money. So there's a bunch of them, and there's Garden Grocer, there's Amazon. There's Walmart Plus if you have it, but now, and it keeps changing, if you use Instacart, you may be able to get Walmart delivered, to you. So you may not need Walmart Plus. You could just use regular Walmart if you are a subscriber to Instacart, like Heather was saying, if you use it at home. So I definitely think using, and Amazon's was it Whole Foods, right? That's what we did.
Correct.
Or Amazon Fresh.
It was Amazon Fresh.
So using those, it's a great way to get groceries delivery for inexpensive breakfast things.
Water.
Beer. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Fruit, vegetables, which are typically sold for a hefty markup by Disney. So I think that is something you would definitely want to check out, is utilizing those things. And again, I know you have a small fridge, so I'm not saying get a ton of refrigerated stuff, milk, the must. Our big go-tos were obviously Kind granola bars, right? Regular granola bars, apple Go Squeeze or applesauce pouches, the mini jerkies.
Yep, beef jerkies in the
beef jerky,
package.
teriyaki.
Anything that we could get that had a more of a higher protein level, because when you have more protein, you feel more full. So that was kind of my mindset behind it. We did have, I'm trying to think if we had like the little packages of, I think we did at one point, of like, cookies or whatever. So you could do like a little packages of goldfish.
Right, all those to-go snacks.
Yes. And then what I did to put them in a freezer side plastic bag.
Yeah, so add that to your grocery list.
Right. Get
A 20-pack or whatever it may be.
Whether freezer size and snack size.
Right.
So then you can grab and go. And then I put it all in the freezer size. And then it's very easy for the kids to be able to access it because it's see-through.
Well, and that helps with security. It speeds it up.
Oh, yeah, totally.
They want to see what's in those bags. So.
Right. And then I'm trying to think of what else we had there.
Well, water. We buy cases of water because you go through, that's the big one, water. I mean, depending upon the time of year and if you want to hydrate, and we'll talk about, I know where Heather's going to go with that, but the water, we buy a case of water. And anything that needs to be refrigerated, water typically doesn't, the cases of water. But they will, Bell Services, if they, you set up the time, you don't have to be there. You choose the time, you choose the day, and then they'll store it for you. If you pick it up yourself, there isn't a fee. If they deliver it to your room, there is typically a minimum fee. It's very small, but you want to tip the Bell Service. These cast members are working hard.
Right.
But they will deliver it to the room for you as well, and they do keep perishable items refrigerated. Again, they have that. So, again, that's a great tip, whatever we want to call it, right? And, we used water bottles, because I remember buying water bottles, and they're typically, I don't know if they've increased in price, but I want to say they were between $3.50 and $4 per water bottle. We buy 4 to 5, that's $20 right there.
Right.
It adds up very quickly. So groceries are definitely, having them delivered is definitely a benefit and a good way of saving money to kind of counteract, because you want to get your Mickey bar and your Mickey pretzel and your Dole Whip and your Peter Pan float. And listen, we like to, have Kool-Aid beverages, adult beverages around the world at Epcot, right? I mean, it's part of the experience of vacation.
100%. You have your classic favorites. You have, we always need to get our pretzels and Andrew, the Peter Pan float.
Peter Pan float.
So, and we're not telling you not to do that. Definitely do that. But then also, too, you can avoid, Mom, I'm hungry, when you're sitting on a line or whatever else. And you can
that's
just
the
pull
challenge.
out that backpack and you have your jerky, you have your granola bars, you have your pouches. You are prepared. And that's what we want to do here. We want to make sure you feel prepared, and we're just being helpful.
Right. And specifically with the children, if you travel with kids, like Heather said on the line, the Mom, I'm hungry things, and especially because you're going hard through all the parks, park hopping, water parks, whichever. The big thing is a lot of times you'll buy a snack, and then specifically for our 4-year-old, it'll end up in the garbage because he won't eat it all. Or the Mickey bar melts too quick before he can do it. Because, Goofy's there. And then it's like, squirrel, forget it, you're done. So that's why we have those extra snacks. And it was really beneficial for him. He would eat the beef jerky and, the apple sauces and everything like that. The one thing I wanted to mention, too, is we usually buy these ahead of time is oh, my goodness. What are they called?
Collapsible water bottles?
Well, yes, we'll talk. So collapsible, all right, I'll go there first. Collapsible water bottles as well, because, you're not going to carry a case of water with you into Disney. However, Disney will give you, any quick serve restaurant will give you ice and a cup of water for free. And then you just put it in your collapsible water bottle and you keep going. So that is definitely another tip on saving money, is bringing those water bottles, reusable water bottles for you. And then Heather and I are now backpack people, right? I understand we're out of the diaper phase, so it makes it a little bit easier. We have a regular backpack that will have ponchos and another tip. And, but the one I want to talk about is our insulated backpack, an Arctic one. They have all of them. They have the Yeti ones.
Right.
I mean, there's all the brands. We got Arctic. Seems like it's going to be great for our next trip. It's a new arrival, but it will benefit things, especially if you have cooling cloths and everything like that. But what I was saying with the water, specifically for the kids, is we use Pedialyte, the
oh
packets.
my gosh, yes. So you can get Pedialyte packets. You can do Gatorade packets. Anything that you could put inside your water. I mean, you could even do Crystal Light, like for
Whichever,
whatever.
right? Anything.
But
for hydration.
With the added electrolytes, that's huge, especially when you're traveling during the very warm, hot, humid season.
Well, and you're walking 9-10 miles a day,
Yep.
typically.
Yeah.
That definitely you want to stay hydrated, and you can stay hydrated when you have your beverages, your adult beverages. So, but yeah, so I think that's the thing to counteract. We all enjoy our vacation and splurging. And we know there's the frustrations out there. If you follow any sort of social media, you have seen that people are frustrated with the price increases. But we look at the big picture. Disney lost billions of dollars, and we look at what's happening with the world right now. They are paying more to get their supplies, so then they have to pass that price increase on to the consumer. It's not rocket science in that world. But we want to ensure to give you some tips using grocery delivery. And again, there are, like I said, Garden Grocer, Amazon, Walmart, Instacart stuff, whatever works for you. And as far as if you have any of those subscriptions, I don't know anybody that really doesn't have Amazon anymore, right?
Right.
So that may be like a great, avenue for you to use. And then the Bell Services has the fee, they'll hold it, but it's like $6, but so worth your time.
Absolutely.
The $6, per package. It's so worth it.
Really quick, one thing I remember that happened with us on our last trip was sometimes you may have food left over, like a lot that you do not want to take home with you. I went into the laundry facility and someone wrote down please help yourself. And it was snacks and I think like seltzers or whatever it may be. But that's an avenue in which if you don't want to take all your food home, just feel free to let people, take it.
And there are Facebook groups that do that. That happens a lot at the DVC or deluxe level resorts is where they leave it more. I don't know I haven't seen too much with moderate. And,
interesting. Okay.
Because a lot of the DVC resorts, if you're in a studio or a deluxe resort, you have the small kitchenette, right? And then if you go to one bedroom, you have a full kitchen, 2-bedroom, and so forth. You have the full kitchen. So there may be a lot more products left over.
Sure.
So, definitely check that out. Amazon Pantry, all of those. And again, I believe we brought the jerky with us. And then we did a reorder. We reordered twice being down there. So using Amazon was really beneficial for us in saving money to get those snacks on the go and the water, obviously. So I think that's pretty much going to wrap up, right? Any last minute thoughts, Heather?
No, I think, this is something that we've learned that works for us, and we're going to continue using this little trick that we've discovered. And we would love to hear how, if you take advantage of this, if it worked, if it didn't. So feel free to reach us on our social media. So you can check us out on Instagram, Magical Destinations Travel Co. You can check us out on Facebook, Magical Destinations Travel. And you can check out our Instagram, our
Twitter,
website.
Twitter.
And Twitter too. All right, Twitter, Magical Dest Trav. And then our website,
right,
bookmdtravel.com.
That's it. All right, till next time, live life, do what makes you happy, and let the Disney vibes flow.
Find Disney vibes for all your vacation needs on the web at bookmdtravel.com.